Any questions on it? If not, those in favor, raise your hands, please. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Now, this is a meeting, public meeting in Quitman, Brooks County, Georgia, wherein the mayor got kind of ruly to me, in my opinion. But you will see the real complete story. You have already seen the portion of the meeting wherein my patriotism was questioned. But I want to shed a little light on the situation that you may not know about. First of all, for 3 years I have been trying to get the Quitman City Council to do what needed to be done. Number one, when I first went to this meeting, there was an old rebel flag of the United States, of the state of Georgia, in the corner. It was the Georgia crossbuck sign that was outlawed in the state of Georgia that created much controversy. That was the only flag in city council some years ago. I was the one that asked the council to place the new Georgia flag in its position. That's number one. At that time, the mayor gave me a little problem in that it seemed as if though they did not want me to address the council on that issue. That's number one. Number two, they removed the old crossbuck outlawed Georgia flag and they put in the United States flag, which I had already told them that the United States flag should be at the council meeting. So they brought in the United States flag and they never put up the new approved Georgia flag until this day. This was about my third time speaking to them on the issue of a flag. And in addition to that, I'm talking 2 to 3 years. In addition to that, I also brought it to their attention, the council, about not pledging allegiance. There was no pledge at Quitman City Council until I brought it up. The council members, especially Nikki and James Brown, and two of them on the council already know that that was my concern, and they started doing it. And it looks good, to tell the truth. I told them then, as a veteran and as a community activist, it was the only city then that did not pledge allegiance, and they started doing that. Now, what you're about to see, I believe, is a combination of the things that I have brought up in Quitman that undoubtedly was already on the mayor's mind, because I made the statement about the Skillet Festival, which I recorded because Nikki brought it up at this particular meeting, and she also talked about how successful it was. And my first point that I wanted to make was a simple one, that I recorded it, that it was a good thing, and that it could be seen on this YouTube channel. Now, you don't know what I just told you, but now it's leading you into my response, what the mayor said, and what the gentleman sitting, council member sitting next to him when he hollered ho ho ho, whatever it was. I responded to that because I have a right to do that. And for him to question my patriotism about saluting the flag, I put 20 years in. I didn't only salute the flag, I salute the cars as close as Moody Air Force Base when the emblem and the base commander rode around. So that's irrelevant. But what I think was on the mayor's mind was the fact that I also have identified to EPD the sewage that's backing up on the people on property on Madison Avenue, comes up in her bathroom and in her kitchen sink, and the sewage that ran beneath her house, the ditch that people in that particular community met with me, about 13 people, and I called the EPA, I called the EPD, because I believe children lives and other lives are important, not only to me, but should be to every citizen. In addition to that, bad railroad tracks for years, 3 years. I was trying to get them to put crossbuck signs down on Washington Street, and they finally put them up after much controversy, even with the mayor. Now, there's still the streets over there wherein there is still no railroad crossing warning signs. There's also on this YouTube a picture of a warning sign that is grown into a tree because no one is really paying attention to what's going on. And here again, I got buses on video coming through that particular area. These are the facts of reality. And so you may not know why the mayor is possibly being so pointed to me. But this is what I do. And I know my rights. I don't need him to tell me that he gives me a minute. And moreover, why would he give me a minute when I already asked them for a copy of the policy about addressing the meeting and they don't have one? They don't have no guidelines. And for him to stand up and talk to me like that, well, were they elected by the people to represent us? Now let's take a look at what happened at this public meeting in the state of Georgia. Now let's look at this meeting. Let's look. I was signed up at the same time that Mr. Richardson did. Now, another point. When Mr. Freddie Richardson signed up to address this council, I signed up also. My name was put on a piece of paper, all of my address and stuff. Next time, that was my mistake because I didn't get a copy of it. But next time and in the future, I will always demand a copy to show as a receipt that I have a right to speak at this public meeting. Now, I have been trying for 8 months to address the Brooks County School Board of Education. This will be December will be my 9th month that I've been trying to get on the school board agenda. I requested information through the Open Records Act on how many people, common everyday citizens, had addressed the Brooks County Board of Education. And I'm going to have the list on here soon on YouTube so you can see that the policy is not working and the policy needs to be changed. And I'm 100% sure that it will be changed. But once again, if I had not said anything, it's kind of like an interruption in the meeting. But when I signed up to be on this meeting, on the agenda, this should not even have taken place. I should not even have to get up like this. But they was about to adjourn the meeting, and if I had not said anything, there wouldn't have been anything. And I believe that we have, as a tax-paying citizen in Brooks County, through my family land that we own, I have a right to speak. So let's continue. So for the record, I was on the agenda. They know I was on the agenda if they have a process that works. And if they do not have a policy, they need to create one. And I'm going to help them because I love them. And I love the people of Brooks County, and I think that they, especially the military active duty people stationed at Moody Air Force Base, retired military veterans that served in Vietnam and Korea and other wars around the world, they have a right under our form of government until it changes. Let's listen, please. Address the council tonight.
What did he say that one? I think it was the last meeting.
No, I can't. We both was at the same time.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. Yes, he know that. So that, too, should not even been a matter of discussion. That should not even been a matter of discussion. I was on the agenda, just like Freddie Richardson. They should have called me. I should not have to call them. Just like when I attend public meetings in Port St. Joe, Florida, Omaha, Nebraska, San Antonio, Texas, Klamath Falls, Oregon, Valdosta, Georgia, Lakeland, Coffee County, Douglas over in Douglas, Georgia, Thomasville City Council, all of the council meetings that I've been to, I should not have to remind them, especially when I have already told them and got on the agenda. Listen, please.
That's fine. But it's not about the same thing. I don't think so. Okay.
First of all, my name is George Boston Rhymes, 5004 Oak Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. I have a few items. Number one, the student festival. I was here. I recorded it, and you can find it on YouTube, Boston G.B.R. Pictures came out real well. The movies did. It was a very good thing. I mean, it was beautiful, and you all can see it on the Boston G.B.R. channel on YouTube. It came out real good. The only reason I mentioned that because Nikki did a long presentation about getting how good it was and the people that attended and how the outreach of the festival is reaching other areas of the state and nation. Talked about the support and the future of the Skillet Festival, and so I made a comment that I recorded it because I did. Got a thorough recording. It's up on YouTube in its entirety, and I don't get paid for that. I just do it because I think it looked good. That was a plus for Quitman. I was commending them, and I was only saying to them how they could watch all of that footage. That's the purpose of that statement, and that's all it was. And now I'm going into the second thing on the agenda from my paper. I brought this up some time ago, and like I said, I go to a lot of city council meetings, Lakeland, Coffee County, Fort St. Joe, Florida, and most every council meeting that I go to, whatever the state is, they have a state flag at all city council meetings. I've said it before, this is the only council meeting that I've ever been to where they don't have a Georgia.
But when we have the pledge, you don't need pledge.
Sir. That is totally incorrect. I always pledge the flag. If any of you all watched the Valdosta council meeting, if you go to Port St. Joe, any meeting that I attend, in fact, any meeting that I attend and there is a flag, I salute it. However, when you're operating a camera, and I've been doing it for a long time, what you do, I have no problem saluting the flag, and I don't even want to respond to that. But I will say this, is that I move the camera, I put it on the people, I scan the audience always, mostly always, and I start from the people, and I slowly move the camera to the flag to let the people who are in attendance see people showing respect for the flag. And on this particular night, as I got ready to move the flag, my camera was locked, and so what I did was just go on and put my hand over my heart, and I did not move the camera because the bottom button was locked, and so it stayed on the mayor. Normally, I move the camera, and all of my videos, I think, will show that. But be that as it may, I think there was another reason why the mayor came out like he did, but it's okay because I'm used to that. I know that Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. And this is why I cut this clip, because I want you all to know the truth. And yes, I was offended for him saying that I did not salute the flag. I've served over 20 years in the military, 6 commendation medals, and other awards and declarations in defense of this country. I took major offense to him even making that statement to me as a veteran, especially when I was the one that talked about the United States flag should be in the council chamber, the state, and all that was just a forest or something. I can't understand really in truth. I started not even put the other video up, but I said the people that were injured in Vietnam and other wars need to know that when they fight to defend other countries, they sure as heck need to look at their own rights here in the state of Georgia and see what has happened. For instance, there are no flag at Moody Air Force Base on the 23rd Wing first floor within the chain of command. That's right. It has not been a picture of the president on the first floor of Moody Air Force 23rd Wing. And that too is a disgrace. So just because you don't hear other military veterans and active duty person and Jack Kingston and Tim Golden and others say anything about it, it don't mean that I got to go along with it. I love this nation, and I respect the flag. After all, the flag itself, the red, white, and blue, those colors were first seen on the continent of Africa on stone that my ancestors left. So why should I take great pride in that document, the Constitution of the United States, along with the red, white, the blue, and you? Let's go farther.
So just being honest about it, okay?
No, sir, you're being very rude, sir.
But I sit right here and watch you doing what
No, you didn't, sir.
You work with the camera.
No, absolutely. You saw me work with the camera, and I work with the camera.
Go ahead, it's okay.
Because that's what I do. Sir, I put 20 years. Right here, I'm not angry. Really, I'm not angry. I'm making a point because he really is getting on my nerves concerning my service to the country. That's my point that I'm trying to make. And for him to get rude to me when all I did, and first it didn't even respect what I did when I got on the agenda with Mr. Freddie Richardson. I'm thinking about this. I say, is this place this backwards? It reminded me of the Brooks County Board of Education after 8 attempts trying to get on the agenda. And so I guess all of it is, I'm saying to myself, what's going on here in Georgia? In South Georgia in general? I said, what's going on here? Listen, please. I have no problem this way. I put my life on the line for that flag. I'm offended by that.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
But I take offense to that.
I didn't take offense to you not pledging, did you?
You gonna tell me that I didn't pledge the flag? And I turn that camera around, I turn and put my hand over here, and if I didn't, that's not right. Now, I'm letting him know that if I was a Seventh-day Adventist, or if my religious belief system doctrine was that I don't pledge allegiance to the flag, but only to God, only to Allah, only to Buddha, only to even Astaroth, I have that right. Every citizen have the right to salute or not salute. But I chose to salute, and the mayor at a public meeting. What are they trained to do? What are they trained to do on a council and county commissioners meeting? Listen, please.
You did under the Constitution,
that's my right.
Okay, that's your right, that's okay.
And in addition to that,
do you have something else?
Yes, I got. Now he cut across. You got something else to say? Well, if he and the city of Quitman would have only read what I put down on the agenda to speak about, if they had a policy, he would know that I had some more items to talk about, because they would have seen it on the paper. But it's all a game. But Jesus said, the truth is what makes the difference. Hey, I'll say it. Hey. Now, the gentleman in the green shirt said, hey, and I only repeated what he said. That's all I did. And I said it because I want people to know that the days of old, when my grandmother allowed people to talk to them and my grandfather, but they could not speak back. I put my life on the line defending the right to speak, and to be hollered at from elected official. Well, I didn't serve my country, and I love this nation. It's just no question about that. I got the retirement papers and commendation medals and other awards to prove it. There is no big I's and little U's under our form of government unless the people are living in fear and ignorance. Listen, please.
All right.
Now you see the mayor done stood up. Now you see me standing before the chief of police, the member of law enforcement, and I know what he's there to do. I know the power of a law enforcement officer. The guy in the green shirt elevated 2 against 1 because the mayor and him now was talking to me. I was offended in the first place by everything that was going, but I keep my cool. It's not that I'm angry. I want them to understand that if you treat me this way, a retired military veteran who are only recording a public meeting in the state of Georgia like I do everywhere else, and for this to elevate to this level, and then my beautiful brother Freddie Richardson, he knows that I'm in Brooks County, and he also knows what goes on because he's a person of average intelligence. He said, Rhymes, let it go, let it go. I want Mr. Richardson, and I want the chief of police, and I want the mayor, and all of them. And now I want you to know this.
You got something else you want to tell us about? You get back on schedule, I'm sorry.
Now, he said, you get back on schedule. It's not about a schedule. It's getting back to the agenda and the policies of Quitman abiding by the law what they have written in their policy, and they don't even have a policy. You're going to hear him give me a minute. Well, how could the other council members sit there and say you got a minute? Who approved me to have another minute? Why did not the beautiful elected people from the people and by the people and for the people say to the mayor, how you give him a minute to speak? I asked for the policy. I never seen a policy. So I don't know nothing about taking another minute. In Valdosta, they give you 5 minutes. And if you don't finish, you through. You take your seats. But there is no policy. And so one day, just maybe, this may be a matter to end up in the courts. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Listen, please.
Okay, fine. But you got exactly about a minute to get started. Otherwise, we can move on.
Or I can move on. I can fix everything.
If you notice, I'm still not angry. My point was to state it as clear as I could, just like I did. Nobody was angry. Nobody angry. Just wanted to make a point. Listen, please.
All of it was, everything was positive. Like, number one, the Skillet Festival was recorded.
You've already talked about that now.
Now, I was telling them that I came to you. I didn't come to cause no confusion. I came to talk about the Skillet Festival. That was a positive. I talked about the flag. That was a positive. And yet he interrupted me on that. But anyway, it is what it is. And I want you to know the truth.
Oh, the flag was positive. Now, what I also want to ask about was the jail.
Now, why the jail? If you know it, or whether you do not know it, the Quitman jail is the same jail that possibly Hayes Turner, Mary Turner, Will Head, and others, Simon Schuster, Sidney Johnson, may all have been in that jail, because it is a historic jail in Brooks County, wherein May the 7th, 18th through the 24th, 13 to 15 people were murdered in Brooks County and Lowndes County, and absolutely nothing has been done about it. That particular jail is the jail that I believe that Hayes Turner, the husband of Mary Turner, was incarcerated. And so I spent about $600 in a trip to Selma and lived in Montgomery, and we spent that much money, and I spent that much money, and so for Quitman to be the home of the Week of Terror, which the mayor had nothing to do with, nobody in Valdosta had anything to do with, could make that building a part of the Week of Terror and bring some kind of monument or plaque, as is now in Hayhara, for the lynching of Mary Turner. So I'm saying that Selma get paid for their history that happened at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Many civil rights areas. I've worked in Rosewood, Florida, with John Robertson and his grandsons and other investors from the Miami area to try to restore some parts of Rosewood, and so people are being paid, but yet we have something there in Quitman that is just sitting idle, and I think that it needs to be brought up, and tourists can make money. The city can make money through tourism, and because I understand that a movie is being made about the Mary Turner and the Week of Terror, so that's why I'm bringing this up. So listen, please.
Sorry to say that over there, and I'm just wondering if what is being done to restore or bring up for tourists, maybe possibly making money for the city. That's just something to throw out, just throwing it out. That's all I have to say. And I'm here again. I'm on camera, and I apologize if everybody knows me and every crowd do. I know how to conduct myself at a public meeting. Been doing it for a long time, and I'm sorry.
You did it. And I accept your apology. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Now you'll see I tapped the chief of police on the shoulder, because I've had an encounter with the chief of police before, helping other people in Quitman, and it worked out real good. I have no problem with the chief. He's doing his job, and I commend him for what he did. I also respect the mayor, I respect the city council, and if you see everything ended on a good note, positive, because that's the flavor of my nature, and that's the nature of my flavor. And the reason why this video put together, because I want you to know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. And if the Quitman Free Press does not report anything concerning that last city council meeting, you can say that you heard it here on KVCI channel on YouTube with George Boston Ryan, because that's what I do. I do what I do because I think that you need to be informed. And if the newspapers don't do it in South Georgia, the TV station don't do it, and if the radios ignore it, then we want to be on point, because we who served our nation, we fought for the rights of others in foreign nations, and we sure as heck can fight and report what is happening in our community, especially the Black African American community, wherein we don't own the newspapers and we don't own the TVs and we don't control the radio stations here that have guts enough to report what actually happened. But listen, as Paul Harper said, now you've heard the rest of the story, and there's just a little bit more. But to hear that, you're going to have to keep coming back to this channel and sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, and in some cases, even your enemies. Bye-bye, we're gone. And by the way, today is November the 13th. I'm heading off this afternoon, going to the Brooks County Board of Education meeting at 7 o'clock tonight, if I so choose, and I do choose, and so we'll be getting back to you. Until next time, bye-bye, we're gone. Peace.